Hello, healthy people, and welcome back to the Organelle podcast. Today, we're exploring the missing link in your fitness journey, aka the transformative power of pathology. We're going to navigate the specific targeting power of pathology and how it will revolutionize your ability to achieve fitness goals, with special attention to how our strength building and recovery systems actually work. As always, I'm Xavier Greenhalgh, and joining me will be none other than the Organelle digital health platform's founding practitioner, Lionel Godwin. So, without further ado, let's all take the next step on our health journeys. Fitness. That's what we're here to talk about. Lionel, how are you?
Fitness. I'm fit and well, thank you.
Well, not specifically fitness. Today, we're going to talk about the value of a pathology guided health journey in relation to your fitness journey. So,
Yep.
Lionel, just to start off, because I know there's a bunch of people listening who are really looking for that first tasty nugget, could you give me like a 1 minute elevator pitch on why all gym enthusiasts should get regular blood work done?
Look, it's really simple, to be honest. So, gym users should understand their overall health and understand whether there's any underlying conditions there or whether there are any imbalances within their body. This can allow for early intervention and treatment, and it can lead to improved health outcomes, but obviously potentially a much better gym performance and provide a good monitoring for their baseline health and wellness. So it allows them to measure how they're going and how their overall fitness is improving over time.
Yeah, I think it's really important to stress that when we say better performance, that's not just better performance per session, but that better performance per session is going to be this that you push yourself harder, you go further, and that's going to result in better gains over time. So it's
And
really
you
crucial.
recover quicker.
Yeah, recover quicker. We can't understate the importance as well of actually being able to measure meaningful stuff instead of just like weight on the scale. Could you give us
Yeah,
an
100.
example, Lionel, of how has getting regular blood work done helped your fitness journey?
Well, the most importantly for me, what it's done, it's allowed me to understand if there are any nutrient deficiencies in my day-to-day eating. That's really important. It's allowed me to establish whether there's any hormonal imbalances, and that really affects my energy and my mood if there is a hormonal imbalance there. So, as you know, energy and mood can really impact the way you go about a workout. And it allows me to address any of these issues. If there are changes in my hormonal balance or any nutritional deficiencies that become apparent, I'm able then to react and respond to those. And then it can really just it keeps me very aware that I've created all the right conditions to get the most out of my regime around exercise.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to go into each of those things and touch on them all a bit more specifically.
Mm.
So first up, let's talk energy and mood. How the hormone system obviously is the underlying factor here, but how can regular pathology help improve your energy and mood to the effect of which that's going to massively increase your gym performance and your gains?
Okay, so energy and mood are dictated by obviously the nutrition that we've got within our body and whether our body's got usable nutrients in them to, one, improve energy and two, improve mood. And hormones obviously play a particular a part in that. And it just enables us to really focus on the areas of which we have some control over. So if we know that our moods are fluctuating, then there's clearly something going on that we need to identify. So by having that pathology, we're able to identify exactly what's going on, and we can then make immediate interventions with that. Mood and energy themselves, play such an important role in what we do when we get into a gym, how much we put into a workout or how little we put into a workout. It also affects the way we interact with others in the gym too. Sometimes you might get into the gym, and if your mood's really poor and someone's holding you up on a machine, you might explode because of the fact that you're in a bad mood because you're either really hungry or you haven't eaten all the things that your body needs for that day, and then that impacts then on not only other people in the gym but but you yourself, and then it just leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So, it's just something that we need to be really cognizant of, and understand that the best way to deal with that is to get blood tests done that can keep us abreast of just where we are in a nutritional state and in a hormonal state.
Yeah, and particular attention there to the big player in the hormone game, which is testosterone, particularly for men. We've done a whole episode on it in the past, so if you're interested in that, you can go back and listen to it. But real quickly, just knowing your testosterone and the things that surround testosterone, like your sex hormone binding globulin and albumin, that's like going to let you triangulate not only why your testosterone's at the level that it is, but how you can do like the most effective thing you can do to boost it up or control it however you wish. So moving right along, Lionel, let's talk blood tests for weight management. How is that going
Yep.
to play on the fitness journey?
Um, that's it, look. It's a really interesting point. So regular blood tests can underlie can identify whether there's any underlying medical conditions or hormonal imbalances, as we alluded to earlier. Now, when they're apparent, if there are imbalances there, that can really affect our weight management efforts, because it provides us insight into things like really important markers such as our blood sugar levels, our cholesterol levels, more importantly, our thyroid function, which has a real impact on our weight management. And this information can be used, to develop a targeted approach, or look at targeted interventions that will improve our overall weight management outcomes. Thyroid, in particular, for one, is me that's really misunderstood the impact that it can have on our weight and our weight management. So, the pathology is really important in that. Really important.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily see a scenario where someone's been trying for years and years and years to shrug some weight off, but they've never seen the value of getting pathology done. Then one day, maybe they come through the Organelle platform, they say, "Oh, this whole time I've had this huge thyroid imbalance," and then they fix
Mm.
that maybe through some nutritional intervention, and all of a sudden, it just everything they've been trying and failing at for the last few years just works.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
again, this is the value of pathology. I've said this to you in previous podcasts. Our bloods don't lie. That's the beauty of them. They're the most accurate way to get an immediate idea and/or intervention in what's going on with us. And there's also other aspects to it with pathology. There's a lot of diets out there that can be um, changed to reflect what your blood biomarkers are. So you're eating around your blood works, specifically to deal with any imbalances and to correct any of those imbalances, which makes a big difference then to the way you absorb nutrients, and obviously the way then the body reacts to these nutrients from a fat burning perspective.
yeah, excellent. Let's jump on to the third thing here, which is how is pathology going to influence your recovery and your strength?
Okay, again, coming back to what we've already alluded to, recovery and strength are both impacted by any nutritional deficiencies that we have or any hormonal imbalances that we have. They can really have a dramatic impact on our strengthen our recovery. And again, it allows for us to provide those targeted interventions. Once we understand, and they all keep coming back to the same thing, these hormonal imbalances or nutritional deficiencies. Once we can provide targeted interventions with the knowledge that we get from our pathology, we can then look at either improving our strength, or increasing or decreasing our recovery time by making sure that we've provided balance at a nutritional and hormonal level through our bloods via the nutrition that we then use to provide that intervention.
Yeah, I wanna bring this more closer to the company that this podcast is obviously a part of, and that's Organelle, the digital health platform. Because I think a lot of what we've said's come back to the fact that the main players here are things like your hormone system, and just your general blood works for obviously. We can see that the main player here is the hormone system, and then surrounding that is just general cell functionality and blood work. Which is why on the Organelle platform, one of our flagship products is our Perform Plus test.
Hmm.
Lionel, just for the listeners at home who are thinking potentially they want to take some pathology onto their health journey in order to obviously massively increase their fitness outcomes, What's the philosophy behind our Perform Plus package, and how can it help them?
It helps for all of the reasons that I've alluded to earlier. It just provides us with a baseline, if you like, of our nutritional state and our hormonal state. And it allows us to then provide the most accurate interventions based around those biomarkers. So it allows us to then be very targeted in these interventions and also, most importantly, monitor and measure the changes that are occurring, which are not only reflected in the strength gains, but the recovery time, but also the biomarkers themselves will give us a really accurate picture of where we have improved.
Yeah, I think it's kind of relevant to this discussion to talk through. I'm kind of using the Performance Plus as an example of the types of things that are really important when you're looking at a blood test, specifically in relation to your physical performance.
Mm.
So just to walk through real quick, there are five key like groups of things that we test with Perform Plus, and five things, therefore, that we really think people should be looking at when they're thinking about fitness and pathology. Number one, obviously, testosterone. Testosterone is the big player, particularly for men when it comes to regulating physical activity and strength gains. Then the next one we hold as really important is sex hormone binding globulin, because that's
Yes,
not
that's
only going to tell you
absolutely.
about how your testosterone's using, how your body's using testosterone, but also how it's producing it. Then we
Yep.
look at just a general full blood examination because often the issue that we can have with the hormone system is downstream from that in like the general health system. It's always really important to look at that whenever you're getting blood work done. Then we bring it to liver function, which I'd love for you to expand on in a sec why that's important. But to close it out, we follow that all up with urea, electrolytes, and creatine. Two of those things are familiar to me. Creatine is magic snake oil powder that'll make me huge, apparently. It's this. Electrolytes are Powerade, and that's my entire knowledge of it. So if you could highlight just what the last two things I mentioned there are, that'd be fantastic.
So electrolytes are the things that help with the transfer of information in and out of our cells. So they're effectively trace minerals, for want of a better description, and they really have a positive impact on the way energy flows in and out of our cells. Creatine, in and of itself, is vitally important in terms of muscle and the way muscle works. But creatine is something that's the body produces when our muscle is developing. And anybody with a higher muscle mass is going to have a higher creatine level within their bloods because it's associated with muscle mass in and of itself. Now, creatine like I said, I think in a previous podcast, is one of those overhyped supplements that gets a lot of airtime, and a lot of people are making a lot of money through marketing creatine type products. I'm yet to see a definitive study that shows there is any benefit in taking creatine. It's a naturally occurring thing within the body that happens as we grow muscle. Now, we're never going to grow muscle unless we come back to what the liver does when
Mm.
it comes to growing muscle, which is to create the non-essential amino acids which the body uses to grow muscle. And it creates these non-essential amino acids by using the essential amino acids that we get from the proteins that we eat. And those amino acids in the protein go through to the liver. The liver then uses those essential amino acids to create the non-essential amino acids, of which there's roughly 16. There's different views on it. There's between 16 to 24. Different scientists have different views on it, but these non-essential amino acids are created by the liver and really allow muscles to absorb these amino acids for repair and growth. So the liver plays a really, really, really significant part in the creation of these non-essential amino acids, and then obviously sending them out through our bloodstreams to our muscles. And it also allows us to store glycogen in the muscle, which the muscle uses for energy as well.
I'd never really thought of it like that, but it does seem that if you think of it like your muscles are made of building blocks of proteins, and we take those proteins in through food. You can often forget that what we need to do first is break that food down into the amino acids, and that's the function of the liver. So no matter if you're eating 1,000 grams of protein and a bunch of perfect nutrition, if you have bad liver health, that's all going to be for naught because it's not actually making it to where it needs to go.
No, yeah, and that's 100% right. So for me, liver function is one of the most important areas that we should always be focusing on. To make sure that our liver is as functional as it can be. You'll often hear people referring to the fact that they've got a fatty liver or a sluggish liver, and that's happening. Then your body and the liver itself is not able to do what it's designed to do around the amino acid study, and accepting that. Creating amino acids is only one of thousands of functions that the liver has. It's my favorite organ in the body behind the heart. And that's probably a podcast for another day. It's just the role and function of the liver, because it's a really wonderful, wonderful organ. And it's one that we should respect a lot. But, you're 100% right. We need to be able to enhance our liver at all times to make sure that it can service in the most serviceable way.
So we've skipped over one thing there, and I think it's really important to go back and cover it for the sake of complacency. Urea, Lionel. What is it? Why
Mm.
is it important for fitness?
Yeah, so urea is basically a waste product of protein assimilation, and what happens is the liver can be really, really impacted by high levels of urea, particularly if we're not really well hydrated. I use a equation that for every 10 grams of protein that we eat, we should have at least 100 ml of water to help metabolize that protein. If we don't have that level, then there's a lot of toxicity around protein absorption, and the liver is the organ that can really be impacted by that. And so, it's really important that we make sure that when we are eating adequate amount of protein, that we have high levels of hydration in order for that metabolism to occur and for that waste products to be minimized in the form of urea.
Yeah, so it just sounds like it's a really important metric for tracking how well our body is handling the recovery process.
Absolutely,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
I think we've given plenty of value there, plenty of reasons why you should incorporate pathology into your health journey. And once again, if you want to do that through us and through the Perform package, the Perform Plus package that we've hand tailored to your exact use case, you can just go to organelle.com.au and sign up there. That aside, Lionel, thank you for your time once again. It's been excellent.
Excellent too. Great to be with you again, and see you again soon, Xavier.
See you soon.